Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and I wish you guys a happy new year. Let's take a look at the lower box county Scholastic Chess League standings. Upper Dublin, 5 wins, 1 loss. Germantown Academy, 4 wins, 1 tie, 1 loss. Northeastern Area, 3 wins, a tie, and 2 losses. North Penn, 3 wins, 3 ties. Perkiomen Valley, 2 losses, 2 wins, 4 losses, and Plymouth, 6 losses. So it looks like everybody played their 6 rounds, 6 matches here. Very good. Abington leading with 5 wins and a tie. Lower Moreland, 3 wins and a tie, and they lost 1 match to Abington. LaSalle, 3 wins and a tie and 2 losses. So they played 6 matches. And Lower Moreland played 5. Penn Charter, 2 wins, 2 losses. Philadelphia Academy, 1 win, 1 tie, 3 losses. Council Rock, perfect score. This is absolutely amazing. I don't think we ever had a team that scored a perfect score in Lower Bucks County Scholastic Chess League. Keep up the good work, guys. Hadborough Horsham, 4 wins, 2 losses. William Tennant, 4 wins, 2 losses. NAG Doylestown, 3 wins, 3 losses. Penridge, 1 win, 5 losses. Archbishop, 6 losses. Holy Ghost Prep taking the lead in Lower Bucks County Division with 5 wins, 1 loss. Pensbury, 4 wins, so they have to play 2 extra games. NEJ Early, 3 wins, 1 loss. Franklin Town and Father Judge, 1 win, 4 losses, and Taconic Academy, 4 losses. Okay, and we also have the standings for the playoffs. The winner of each division: Council Rock, Abington, Upper Dublin, Holy Ghost Prep, and William Tennant, Pensbury. I think Holy Ghost Prep should be in there, and Hadborough Horsham, Germantown Academy. Okay, and let's see the game of the day. Okay, and we have Chris from Abington, who's a 1400 around, and Clayton from Lower Moreland, who's around an 1800, high 1700. So let's see the game. D4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, d5. So this is the Grunfeld opening, and most of the times black wants to give up the center. He said, I'm not fighting for the center, I can give up all the center, and then he wants to fight back against the d4 pawn with the pieces. So with c5, bishop g7, with the queen and with the knight, and then trading this bishop for the knight. So let's say c5, let's say knight f3, bishop g7, bishop e3, and castle. Let's say you play bishop c4, and I could take or not take on d4, knight c6, and usually black puts tremendous pressure on the d4 pawn. So this is black's main idea, and white choose bishop f4, very quiet and peaceful line, which was used by Anatoly Karpov back in the old days against many great players, even against Garry Kasparov. Black captured on c4. I don't like these captures here. So in the spirit of the Grunfeld, it will be bishop g7 and c5 right away. And if black captures on c5, then queen a5. This is very typical move, queen a5, pinning the knight on c3, preparing knight d4, attacking the c3 knight, 3 times. So in case of c takes d5, then black has knight takes d5. There's a tactical shot here, because after bishop takes c3, pawn takes c3, queen takes c3 check, I will win back my piece. I could give you another extra check to force you to go to f3 with the king and then take here. And white has some compensation here, but black is fine. After short castle, you could take my rook or my knight. If you take the rook, then knight b6 is a double attack. If you want to keep protecting the bishop, then I have queen d1 check. And now you have, the question is, should move the king or you should block. If you move the king, then it's queen g4 mate. And if you play knight d2, then I take your rook. Obviously, the more closer the king gets to the black pieces, is much easier to checkmate the king. So bishop f5, king here, and f6 does the job. Okay, you have queen f6 and pawn takes f6, but that doesn't change anything. Or can he play queen a1? Or is the same thing? So after pawn takes c4 in the game, white played e3. I like more e4, having this strong center. And when black plays c5, his typical counterplay move, white could take or even push. But even if it takes and queen a5, bishop takes c4, knight d4, now white has queen d5, which usually white doesn't. So if you play bishop e6, I take, I'm up a piece. So I'm threatening on f7. Here white played e3, bishop g7, bishop takes c4, castle, knight f3, natural developing moves, c5. This is a typical counterplay move, because black wants to pressure this d4 pawn, but it's overprotected by the e3 pawn. So white captured on c5, queen a5, and this is a typical move, queen a4. White has this extra option with queen b5 of trading queens. Queen c5, castle, bishop d3, bishop d7 attacking the queen, queen b3, knight c6. So black finished development and he connected his rooks in the back rank. White also has his rooks connected, and it will be interesting to play knight g5 here with white, attacking the f7 pawn 3 times, forcing black to push e6, and then this bishop is blocked in by the pawn and the d6 square is weak. And now right away knight d4. Of course you could take and I can take, and I am attacking your queen. You have to move your queen away, and after queen takes b7, I prefer white here, because after knight d5 I take, and you take with the queen. I could just play b3 to protect my bishop, and computer says plus minus plus equals, so the bishop hangs on d7. This is a big problem, and white is ready to protect his knight with f3. So if you protect your bishop, I can attack that bishop again, and if you take my knight, then I take on d7 and your rook hangs. So because of this queen takes b7, knight g5 e6, so strategically already this white bishop has some problems, and because of the tactics after queen takes b7, white is better. But white choose to play queen b5 going into this endgame, and here I like more bishop e2 than bishop a4, just inviting black to keep chasing that bishop. Rook c8, rook belongs to open files, rook f to d1. b5 very good, bishop b3, and bishop g4. Because of this bishop g4, why should have played h3? One, to stop bishop g4, to control the g4 square. Second, let's use it. If black plays knight h5 to attack the bishop, you always have the h2 square for your bishop. And third, you will have the square for your king. So it's a multi-purpose move. h3, rook f to d1, b5, bishop b3, bishop g4, pinning the knight on f3, rook a to c1, and black could have just played knight a5. I mentioned this when white played bishop a4, just keep chasing the bishop, and black has to play on the queen side. I mean, he has to pressure. The whole idea of the green file is to pressure the queen side. White played knight d5, knight takes f4, pawn takes f4, and because of the strong knight on d5 and the tactics that arises here, white compensates for the strong bishop on g7 with tactics. So rook e8 and knight b6, knight d4, knight takes c8, check, king f1, knight takes c1, knight takes c7, check, rook takes c7, and rook takes c1. Now bishop takes b2. So black has the bishop pair and he has a queen side pawn majority. Queen 2 versus 1, and he has the bishop pair, which is a long-term advantage. Rook c2, bishop g7. I like this square for the king, so rook d2, and instead of rook d2, white could have played rook c6, and if a5, rook b6. So you want to push, you want to attack the pawns, force the pawns on the black squares, so then they cannot advance because the bishop will block, and then I could start attacking the f7 pawn. Here the black bishop is pinned. You can make progress with the pawns, so it's equal here because you have white has enough counterplay. White played rook d2 in the game, and black could just play bishop c3, and if you attack my rook, I could play bishop a5, holding the d8 square and giving the g7 square for the king. Black just needs to reorganize his bishops here, and his rook here, rook on open file, the bishop will come to b7, and king to g7, and the bishop could just come back to f6. The rook and the two bishops work really well. They coordinate really well. Black played rook e4, rook d8 check, bishop f8, and knight g5. Rook takes f4, h3 very good. And now white should have just played g3, an in-between move, and then he could have taken on f7. So the rook has to move to b4, and now white has this g4. Now if you play bishop b1, knight takes f7, rook takes b3, check, and I take, and you can't take the knight because I take the bishop. So if you play king g7, then rook d7, white gain his pawn back and he has attack on the king. This is really annoying here, because you could end up with a mate. So g4 will be an interesting move. So basically you could take the knight on f7, and the knight doesn't have to protect the h3 pawn. So bishop takes f7, white probably rushed, picking up this pawn with check, and knight d6, bishop takes, and this should be even because the bishops opposite colors of bishops. Black still has the queenside pawn majority. Bishop c5 and king h6 and f3. Rook a4. Black should have just played here rook f8 or rook d4, and you could hold the pawns if you need to. You can also have the second rank. I don't like this move, rook a4. I have no idea what was the plan either after bishop g8. Oh, I assume he didn't see the bishop, or maybe he was in time trouble. I don't know, because this bishop is doing a great job. So he gave up his rook, and g4 very good. He took the squares away from the king, and this is just an easy win. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the game, and good luck in your games.